So I know that this isn't exactly the general consensus from everybody who has played Marathon so far in the closed alpha, but I just want to tell you, man, I have had an incredible amount of fun playing this closed alpha. I really like Marathon so far. Is it a perfect game? No, definitely not. It's not perfect by any means. And there's definitely a lot of things that Bungie needs to work on leading up to release. But listen, I just got done playing a long session with Kevin Coolx on YouTube. We played for several hours tonight, and that was a hell of a good time, man. That was a good time. And this is, I feel, important to preface. I'm not an extraction shooter gamer. I've literally played like maybe 2 or 3 rounds of DMZ, and that's it. I've never played Tarkov. I've never played Hunt Showdown. I didn't play the Cycle. Literally any extraction shooter, I've never played it. I've played like 3 rounds of DMZ, and that is all that I've ever done with extraction shooters. I've played a considerable amount of Battle Royales over the years, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a Battle Royale player. I've played some Apex. I've played some Fortnite. You know, I've played some Warzone. What else is there? You know, I've played games like that, but limited. Very, very, very limited. I'm not a BR player either. I'm traditionally like an arena shooter kind of player, an arcadey shooter. You know, games like Halo, games like Call of Duty, X Defiant, stuff like that, Titanfall. You know, those are usually my bread and butter. I've got a lot of hours in Destiny, but between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, I've probably got like 2,500 hours in, you know, that game over the years. This game was super, super fun. Like, I'm talking, I really can't wait to play again tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I know that that's not what most people are saying, or maybe perhaps it's the vocal minority. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that are providing their opinions online about Marathon. Happy about that, by the way. That's fantastic. I'm glad that people are sharing their opinion because it's only going to make the game better, right? But there's a lot of negative, perceptions and hate and just a lot of negativity in general surrounding Marathon online. And some of it definitely feel like it is, it should be that way. Some of it I feel like is a little overblown, but overall, it's just a lot of negativity. But frankly, man, my experience so far with Marathon is really, really positive. And I've probably got, I don't know the exact numbers, but I've probably got like 7 or 8 hours, maybe more of actual game time in Marathon so far. So I've played a decent amount. I'm like level 12. You know, I've played a decent amount so far. Not an exceptional amount, but I've gotten my hands dirty. I've gotten into the game. And it's been a blast, man. It's been an absolute blast. Let me talk about a few things that I'm actually enjoying specifically. The gunplay is fantastic, which I was hoping would be that way. I was expecting it to be that way, given that it's Bungie. Every game that Bungie has put together and given to the market has felt good from a gunplay perspective. Destiny just feels good to shoot your weapons and pop the head off of one of the thralls running at you, you know? Halo would just feel so good with the guns, with your BR going up and you're popping a grunt. Like, the gunplay in Bungie games has always been superb, and it's no different here. They have a headshot multiplier. It's very noticeable when you hit your headshots and you get that confirmation sound of you getting the kill on that UESC AI. Oh, man, feels really, really good. And then when you're actually, going up against players, just the feedback that you get, the visual feedback and the auditory feedback, everything about the gunplay in Marathon feels really, really good. One thing that I will say that genuinely did surprise me, and actually I like, surprisingly, is the game is actually pretty slow. Like, it's not by any means a quick game. You're not twitching around, doing a bunch of things, sliding a lot, slide canceling, things like that. That is not this game. So if you are like a Warzone player and you're used to just slide cancel, going on all crazy around the map, bro, you are going to have to take your gameplay from like up here and bring it down here. It is a drastically different experience. This game is slow. I mean, very, very slow and methodical. You've got a heat bar, which is essentially your stamina. You know, you can only use so much of it before you overheat, and then you have to wait before you can sprint again. You also, your melee is also a part of that. But basically what that does is it specifically makes you be intentional, about your movements. So you're really being methodical. Like, do I sprint here? Do I full sprint here? You know, when I pull my knife out to move faster, what are some different ways that I can get around the slow factor of the game? One of those ways is you can kind of do a little bit of a bunny hop in the game, which is kind of fun, actually. I haven't done testing to know if like you get an actual statistical change in terms of your length of duration before the heat meter fills up versus just sprinting. I don't know. This is just simply my perspective on it. But it's fun to do the little bunny hopping. It's a fun little thing you can do because the rest of the game is pretty slow. So it's kind of unique that you can kind of figure out how to do that. But I like that it's slow and methodical. It makes you be more specific about what you're trying to do. Your engagements. Like, you can't just sprint away and let it be done. No, you got to be aware of your surroundings, aware of the cover that's around you, and really focus on what you want to do in that engagement. I like it. It was something that I wasn't expecting. I actually thought that this was going to be a faster style game based off of what we were seeing and hearing about, but it's not the case at all. It's actually really slow, which was interesting to me. Another thing that I found interesting that I kind of liked actually was the game, while it is a PvPvE extraction shooter and there is PvP in the game, there's a lot of PvE that happens in this game. I heard somebody say it, and I can't remember, maybe it was Hidden Xperia that mentioned it. This game's almost kind of like PvEVP, you know, like the PvE is almost the number one portion of the game, and the PvP is kind of secondary. Now, as we played, we kind of experienced different things depending on what map we were on versus, you know, Perimeter and Dire Marsh. I think Dire Marsh, we experienced more PvP than we did on Perimeter, but overall, the PvE is everywhere. And by the way, listen, if you haven't played the alpha yet, everybody that's saying that the AI is no joke, you need to take that and you need to be aware that that is in fact true. The AI will kill you. It will kill you. This isn't like some basic boy AI that you don't have to worry about. No, dude, if they aggro, like if you get them aggroed and they are focused on you, you have to take care of them or they will kill you. It will shock you. It will shock you how aggressive the AI are in this game. And they're everywhere too. So it's not like they're just few and far between. They're everywhere. Everywhere you go. Every single POI, there's PvE engagements with the AI. You'll be going throughout the map from one POI to the next one. And in between there, and you're traversing, there will be UESC soldiers that are there. They're all over the place. And especially when you run into like a purple shield guy, whew, man, good luck with those. Because a team of 3 players, you gotta delete your ammo just to take one of them suckers down if you don't have like fully really kitted good stuff. Which is a good thing. I like that a lot because this is the thing. I mentioned that I played with Kevin most of the night, but before playing with Kevin, I played solo all day today and yesterday. And that's usually how I play games. I usually play solo. I don't always, have a party that I'm going with. I do sometimes, but most of the time I'm solo. So I really was curious what the solo experience in Marathon would be like, given the fact that they don't have a solo queue. And as of today, Lars Bakken reiterated that at least right now, that's their focus is on trios for launch. We'll see what that, looks like moving forward. But at least as of right now, they're focused on trios only, not duos or solos. So I was curious, what is the experience for a solo player? So I did a ton of solo queue, no fill. So just myself, no squad fill, just me loading up into the match. And because the game isn't flooded with PvP in every single round all the time, it's actually a pretty enjoyable solo experience. Now, I will say that when you do go up against players, if you're going up against a full squad, that is a very, very difficult task. And I did not ever wipe a full squad. That just did not happen. I did get 1 to 2 players down numerous times, but I never got a full squad wipe. That's honestly, I don't even know, like, unless you're like some god tier gamer, I don't even know if it's possible realistically for you to do that on a consistent basis. I'm sure once or twice here and there you can get it done, but that's a really, really tall order as a solo player to do that. So with that being said though, again, there's not a ton of PvP, or at the very least, you can play the game in a way where you don't have to engage in PvP. This game, at least so far from what I've experienced, is really hyper-focused on you going into the POIs, killing the UASC AIs, looting them, looting the various caches and loot boxes that are loot boxes. Well, actually, there are sometimes I think there are specifically called loot boxes in the game. Anyways, looting throughout the match and just getting loot, just getting upgrades, you know, finding weapons, finding mods, finding attachments, finding all these things, and then exfilling. You don't, if you really don't want to, you don't have to engage in PvP in the game. It's very possible for you to launch into a match and not actually engage in with any players, but just engage with the AI. Which, again, though, the AI are no slouch. Like, they are, you got to pay attention. Like, they will literally kill you. So anyways, as a solo player, what I'm trying to get at here is that, is it you know, equally as good as playing with a squad? No, it's not. But it's better than what I was expecting. It is. And I played, you know, about a third of my playtime so far was solo. And I actually enjoyed my experience. I really did want to keep going back into the games. As a solo, no squad fill. It was really not that bad. Granted, I did all that in Perimeter. I didn't do that on Dire Marsh. And in my experience tonight, Dire Marsh had more PvP. So I don't know. Maybe Dire Marsh would be harder solo. I don't know. But at least on Perimeter, it really was not bad. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. You know, there's obviously things that are not the greatest that need to be worked on, but it's an alpha. I think that in terms of the exteriors, a lot of people were talking about the difference between the exteriors visually versus the interiors, and I very much agree. The interiors look fantastic in the game. There's some really interesting areas where it's like super, super red, and it's like really like dark and grungy, and then there's other areas where it's like really neon with like some purples and stuff like that, and it looks really good, super unique looking. And then you go outside and everything's just kind of like bleh. It's very bland, you know. It almost looks like a watercolor painting or something, you know. It's like it's not clean, it's not rich, it's not vibrant. I feel like that's a lighting thing. I mean, I'm not a developer, so I don't know the ins and outs of that, but my assumption is that, you know, lighting will be adjusted between now and release, and we'll have a bit more of a rich looking exterior. At the very least, I hope so. You know, that is one area that I do agree, like, the exteriors are pretty boring looking for sure, and I would like them to look a little nicer. But honestly, as I'm playing, I'm not thinking about that. Like, I'm honestly more focused on the gameplay loop and just having fun with, you know, the people I'm playing with. That's really what I'm focused on, more so than just the visuals of the exterior. We'll see how that lands as time goes on. But dude, look, I could honestly sit here and talk for so long about this, but we have, you know, time for more videos. But my perspective, after playing, like I said, probably like 8 hours of game time, level 12, I really like Marathon so far. I've got a lot of questions for what the future holds in terms of player retention. I do have some questions and concerns about what that looks like, but so far, what I have played, I really like it. I had a ton of fun playing, and I'm super excited to continue playing. We got the alpha running until May 4th, so a lot of time to be put in. I'm really excited to do that, and I feel like I might be in the minority or potentially the silent majority. I don't know. We got more things to talk about when it comes to Marathon, but overall, my opinion is that the game is really, really fun. I really like it. I'm excited to play more. I can't wait to see where Bungie takes us in the future, and yeah, that's my perspective. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you played the alpha? If you have played it, what are your thoughts? If you haven't played it and you've only watched footage of it, what are your thoughts? Very curious either way what you guys are thinking about Marathon in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed and you want to see more Marathon content just like this. and also subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that content. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.